Fatherhood and Other Dreams is a main story mission of Red Dead Redemption 2, and we are playing through every mission in order as part of our RDR2 mission series. So let's start the mission.
Everything. Got him.
After the gang's raucous celebration, following Anglo Bronte, a man of honor in Chapter 4, Arthur Morgan stumbles back to his room in Shady Bell, weary from the night's drinking and revelry. The party, meant to lift the spirits of the gang, lingers in the air, faint echoes of laughter, the crackles of dying firewood, and the occasional clink of a leftover bottle. But amidst the fading embers of the night, something unexpected awaits Arthur. A letter, plain and unremarkable, has been left in his room. No markings, no distinctive handwriting, just an envelope resting silently, carrying an unknown message. If Arthur chooses to ignore it and drifts into sleep after the party, he will later be reminded to return to camp to read it. A simple letter, yet one that holds the key to the unfolding drama ahead. The letter is from none other than Mary Linton, Arthur's old flame, the woman who once held his heart and perhaps still does. The handwriting is unmistakable, delicate yet deliberate, carrying the weight of a history filled with longings, regret, and unspoken words. Mary is reaching out once more, entangling Arthur in the complicated web of her family affairs and a situation she can't handle alone. The request is simple in words but heavy in implication. She needs Arthur's help. As Arthur reads the letter, memories of a past life flicker through his mind, the warmth of their stolen moments, the pain of their separation, and the lingering question of what if. Despite all that has passed between them, she still turns to him when she is in trouble. Now it's up to Arthur to decide. Will he answer Mary's call, stepping once again into a life he tried to leave behind, or will he let the ghost of the past remain buried? Now it's up to Arthur to decide. His next move will set the stage for a reunion that is as bittersweet as it is inevitable. As Arthur rides into Saint Denis, the city's bustling streets provide a stark contrast to the quiet uncertainty weighing on his mind. Just as he approaches, a familiar voice calls out from above. He glances up to see Mary Linton standing on a balcony, framed by the warm glow of lantern light. For a brief moment, the scene feels like something out of Romeo and Juliet, two lovers separated by time and circumstance. Speaking across a distance neither of them can truly bridge.
Arthur.
Mary wasted no time explaining her concern. This time, it is about her father, a man who has long been lost to his own vices. She fears for his safety, for what trouble he might have gotten himself into. And as always, when things become too much, she turns to Arthur, the one person she trusts. Despite everything that has passed between them, Arthur stands at a crossroads once again. If he agrees to help, the mission continues, pulling him deeper into Mary's world and the tangled mess of her family. It's another chance to prove himself to her, another excuse to stay by her side of just a little longer. But if he refuses, the moment ends with an air of finality. Mary, though disappointed, accepts his answer with grace. The relationship, which had already been hanging by a thread, seems to reach its quiet conclusion. No more letters, no more chances. Just two people who once shared something beautiful, now walking away from it for good. Arthur's choice will determine whether this chapter of his life continues or finally comes to a close. After agreeing to help, Mary offers a small, grateful smile, a fleeting moment of warmth between two people who have spent too much time apart. She wastes no time in explaining where they need to go, the stables, where her father, Mrs. Gillis, has found himself entangled in yet another mess. The ride through Saint Denis is quiet, filled with an unspoken tension between Arthur and Mary. There is history here, emotions left unsaid, but now isn't a time for reminiscing. As they arrive at the stables, Mary insists on speaking with her father alone. She knows him well enough to understand that too many voices, especially Arthur's, will only make things worse. Arthur stays back, watching as Mary approaches her father. Even from a distance, it is clear that Mr. Gillis is in no mood for heartfelt reunions. His movements are erratic, his voice raised in frustration. Years of gambling, bad decisions, and empty promises have left him a shell of the man he once was.
Still as charming as ever, I see.
Before Arthur can focus too much on the family drama, a prickly stable hand steps in, irritated at Arthur's presence. With a few sharp words, Arthur makes it clear that he isn't one to be trifled with. Meanwhile, the conversation between Mary and her father takes a turn for the worse. Mr. Gillis, stubborn and reckless as ever, abruptly stormed off, leaving his daughter standing there with a familiar look of disappointment. Arthur knows what comes next. Without a word, he falls into step, trailing Mr. Gillis at a distance. He's seen men like this before, desperate, unpredictable, and bound to make things worse before they get better. The only question now is how bad it's going to get. As Arthur tails Mr. Gillis through the busy streets of Saint Denis, it quickly becomes clear that the man is on a mission of his own. He moves with a nervous energy, casting glances over his shoulder as he weaves through the alleys and side streets. Arthur keeps a careful distance, blending into the city's chaos, waiting to see where this trail leads.
Come here, quick.
Mind where you go. Mind where you go.
Sorry?
Do you think he saw us?
I don't think so.
What did you say to me?
I didn't say a thing insulting.
I'll wipe that goddamn smirk clean off your face.
Ain't you a little old for brawling, mister?
Damn you!
Eventually, Mr. Gillis stops in a secluded spot near a street vendor, where a well dressed buyer is already waiting. The two exchange quick words before Mr. Gillis produces a small, delicate brooch and heirloom that once belonged to Mary's mother. It catches the light for a moment before the buyer snatches it up, pressing a wad of cash into Mr. Gillis' hand. Arthur doesn't need to hear the conversation to know what's happening. The old man is selling off one of the last piece of family history, something meant for Mary, something that should have been hers.
Happens to folks who take loans.
Before Arthur can intervene, Mary suddenly appears, her voice sharp with disbelief and betrayal.
Stan, Mother left it to me.
Mr. Gillis looks at her, guilt flashing across his face before it's quickly replaced by defensive frustration. I had no choice, Mary, you don't understand. But Mary is not listening. Her eyes dart to the buyer, who is already preparing to walk away with the brooch. Turning to Arthur, she pleads, Arthur, please get it back. Without hesitation, Arthur takes off, chasing down the buyer through the crowded streets. Whether he reclaims the brooch through the negotiation or brute force is up to him. But one thing is certain, he won't be coming back empty handed. The buyer, sensing trouble, doesn't hesitate. He jumps onto his waiting coach and takes off, hoping to vanish into the chaos of Saint Denis. But Arthur isn't about to let that happen. Spurring his horses into a gallop, he gives chase, weaving through the crowded streets as the startled townsfolk leap out of the way. The clatter of hoofs and the rumble of the coach wheels echo through the city. But Arthur is faster. As they reach the outskirts, the cobblestone streets give way to dirt roads, and city's glow fades behind them. With a well-placed shot at the coach's wheel or a daring leap onto the vehicle itself, Arthur brings the runaway to a halt in the remote bayou. Far from prying eyes, the buyer scrambles out, brushing himself off, and despite the situation, tries to play it cool. Look, mister, he says, adjusting his coat. No need for trouble, I'll sell you the brooch for $100, and we part ways clean.
Guess I could give it to you for $100.
By this point in the game, Arthur likely has the cash to spare, and paying outright means walking away without unnecessary bloodshed.
Yeah, take the damn thing.
With the
Crazy.
brooch in hand, Arthur leaves the battered man behind and turns back towards Saint Denis. He has what he came for, but the real challenge awaits, facing Mary and the fallout of her father's betrayal. Before leaving the scene, it is always wise to check for anything worth taking. The coach, now abandoned in the quiet bayou, has more to offer than just a ride back to town. As he approaches Mary, the weight of what just happened settles in: her father's betrayal, the choice Arthur has made, the distance between them that, no matter what, always seems to remain.
I don't know.
You want me to go find him again?
Not really.
Let's take a walk.
And now it is time to return what was rightfully hers. Arthur has Mary the brooch, watching as she takes it with a mix of relief and sadness. It is a small victory, but the deeper wounds remain, words that no stolen trinket can mend. Thank you, Arthur, she says softly, looking at him with something unreadable in her eyes.
Hey,
Then Mary glances at the nearby theater and suggests,
now.
"Why don't we go inside? Just for a little while."
Well,
Arthur hesitates.
wondered
This is not his world. Dressing up for fancy outings,
to the
sitting amongst well to do folks in a place where the only performance he's used to is the act of survival. But there's something in the way she asks, something nostalgic, something that tugs at the part of him that still remembers what it was like to just be with her. If Arthur agrees, they enter the theater together. The performance is light-hearted, offering a rare moment of peace in his turbulent life. He can even interact with the show, applauding, booing, or simply enjoying the odd spectacle of it all. Mary, laughing beside him, seems happier than she has in a long time, and for a brief moment, it's easy to forget everything else.
That's true.
If Arthur declines, he doesn't lose anything. No harsh words, no change in Mary's affection. Instead, they continue walking, sharing quiet conversation as they approach the trolley. Inside the theater, Arthur and Mary settle into their seats as the curtains rise, revealing the first act of the night, Robin Konkinski, a well-dressed singer with a voice that fills the grand hall.
Thank you for joining us. Now let's talk a little bit about this place we all love called San.
She performed a charming tune, her lyrics playful and inviting, drawing laughter and applause from the crowd. Arthur, ever the outsider in the such refined settings, can either join in by clapping or remain his usual rough self. Next comes the fire dancer, a mesmerizing performer who twirls flaming batons with incredible skill. The audience watches in awe as the flames illuminate the stage, casting flickering shadows across the theater. Arthur, more accustomed to campfires than theater lights, seems to enjoy the spectacle in his own quiet way. Finally, the show closes with a rousing number from a troupe of can-can dancers, their high kicks and vibrant energy bringing the crowd to life. The act is bold, the kind that might have made Arthur blush in another lifetime. As the show comes to an end, the two steps out into the cool St. Denis night, a rare moment of shared happiness fading into reality. Mary sighs, knowing it's time to part ways. During their walk to the trolley, the mood shifts. Mary speaks from the heart, perhaps they could run away together, leave everything behind, find happiness somewhere far from the chaos that defines Arthur's life.
Is it too late for us, Arthur?
I can't lie to you. I'm a wanted man, Mary. If I...
For a brief second, Arthur seems to consider it. The idea of escaping, of being with Mary, of finally having something good, it's tempting.
Run away with me, Arthur. Run away right now and don't look back.
But in the end, he shakes his head. I made a promise, got people depending on me. Mary looks at him, disappointment and understanding mingling in her eyes. She had hoped, but deep down, she knew this was how it would end.
But Arthur,
If we're gonna run away anywhere, we'd need money. Soon, I'll have some.
I know you won't run away.
As the trolley stops, she lingers for a moment before stepping onto the platform. You will come find me, warned you, Arthur. Arthur nods. Thought there is something uncertain in his gaze. Yeah, I'll come find you.
Fool got it trapped into a town that I can't go back to. That's another story.
I'll write you.
Yeah.
With a sad smile, Mary boards the trolley. As it pulls away, she watches Arthur until he is just another shadow on the streets of St. Denis. Arthur stands there for a moment longer, lost in thought. Then, with a quiet sigh, he turns away, stepping back into the night, back to the only life he's ever known. Here, the mission comes to an end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.